So hello everyone, this is Pratham Bavale and I decode how the world really works. So today in this session, we will be seeing the biggest lie in drug development. So if it work in lab, it will work in patient. So this is the biggest lie ever in the drug development phase. So why promising science fails and how pharma sees it coming early. So in this session we were gonna see each and every point related to this, and let's begin. So if lab success translated to patients, drug development would be easy, isn't it? But the harsh reality is it isn't. And that's not an accident. Random failure is not random, it is structural and predictable. So the brutal reality is, here is the real industry facts, that more than 90% of the drugs that enters humans got failed. Oncology failure rates are even higher, and billion lost on promising data also. And most failure happens despite strong lab data. It doesn't mean that how much strong data you are having from your lab, it will eventually fail in humans if it is not up to the mark. That is the biggest problem here. And according to these stats, we can clearly see that most of the drugs get failed in preclinical tests itself. More than 40% of the drug get failed in the preclinical itself. So, what works in lab actually means it's about potency in vitro success and high binding affinity and shrinkage, animal tumor reduction in control settings is the statistically significant p-value should be there, and mechanism clean graphs showing pathway inhibition. This is what works in the lab, and lab optimized for signals, not for the patients. Then what works in patients actually means that the survival, real improvement in overall survival, durability, long lasting response and not transient, safety, acceptable toxicity profile, feasibility, real world usage and regulatory approvals. Patients doesn't don't respond to mechanism, they respond to the outcomes only. The Where is the translation gap, where's the lie break here? We're gonna break the line. Models doesn't represent humans, that is the first thing. Does Doses aren't scalable, biomarkers don't translate, diseases heterogeneity is ignored. That is the harsh reality of pharma industry. The model problems, no one talks about it even. Why models mislead? It is the artificial disease induction, homogeneous genetics that are clones, or highly controlled environment, unrealistically short timelines. Great models often hide failure, bad ones expose it completely. Biomarkers, false comfort zones. Let's talk about it. What are the biggest mistake? Measuring what is easy to measure. Example, plasma concentration. We know, rather than what is predictive of clinical benefits. Pharma reality, biomarker must predict patient's benefit, not just biological activity. Many biomarkers validate biology, not patients. Dose, the silent killers here. What is the lab thinking? Higher dose is equals to stronger effect. Optimizing for maximum potency without considering systemic limitations. What is the clinical reality? Dose is strictly limited by toxicity. Target exposure often insufficient. Therapeutic windows are very narrow. Biology without feasibility exposure is irrelevant. Humans are not average. Human differs by genetics, diverse mutation affecting drugs metabolism, by disease stage, early versus metastatic profiles, microenvironments, tumor stroma complexity is there, comorbidities, organ function variability, you know, lab average height clinical reality. How AI make this life worse and better? So AI amplifies the lies, learns from biased failed data, or optimize non-translatable endpoints, create false confidence in bad models, and what AI can helps the truths, identifies subtle translational patterns, stratifies patients effectively, flags early signals of failures. AI accelerate truth or mistakes that we should consider. And what regulators knows this lie well, meaningful, is the clinical endpoint actually meaningful to the patient's real benefit? Is the statistical significance clinically relevant? Justifies risk? Does the benefit outweigh the toxicity? Regulator don't approve mechanism; they approve the what is the outcome. So why promising data feeds? This is the biggest question ever. Like wrong, maybe wrong patients, selecting a populations that won't respond, wrong endpoint, measuring the wrong things, overestimated effects, believing lab hype, non-predictive models, building one sand, ignored negative data, confirmation bias. Failure is visible earlier than people admit it. How pharma sees through the lie. Pharma evaluates human relevance of data, translation logic chain, dose feasibility and scalability, biomarker credibility, early failure signals, and what pharma doesn't ask for. Does it work? Does it really works? Pharma asks, will this survive reality? So our endpoint is, does it really works? The real question is that only, does it works or not? So here translation is equals to value creation. The biggest value jump happens at the first convincing human signals itself, where lab success create papers, translation creates companies. So every biotech value a map, preclinical phase 1 to 3. So time and progress should be there, value infection, value of deaths, everything should be considered in that. So in this session, what are the executive takeaways that we can get? Lab success is a hypothesis, not a proof. Treat it with skepticism. Models should predict failure, not success. If it never fails, it's a bad model. Biomarkers must guide decisions. Use them to kill projects early. Dose and exposure defines reality. Without feasibility dosing, there is no drug. Translation is a strategy, not a phase. It start one day one. So the real lie isn't the lab data fails. The real lie is pretending we didn't see it's coming. So I am available for keynote talks, executive briefing, and advisory. You can reach out in my LinkedIn, Pratham Bhavali. You can go to www.prathambhavali.com, or you can mail me in the given email. And if you want to know more about the pharma industry, biotech industry, what are the drug developments, clinical, preclinical, everything business related, pharma economics, and everything related pharma industry or drug development, any kind of anything, you can just directly reach out. And if you want to know more and more things, this kind of valuable things, I bring it on my YouTube, so you can just subscribe it.